All right, today we are talking about something absolutely critical, the designer's pre-flight check. This is all about looking at the blueprints of a digital product before it gets that shiny coat of paint. It's about building the foundation right from the very start. You know the feeling, right? You've been there, I've been there, you're clicking around, getting more and more confused, and you finally just give up. Well, that feeling of being totally lost, that's not your fault. It's a design failure. It's what happens when the very foundation of a product just isn't solid. And that's exactly what this is all about. Think of it like you're building a house. You would never, ever start painting the walls before the foundation is poured and the framing is up, right? This is that essential structural check.
So, we're going to walk through the key quality control checkpoints every designer needs to hit. This is what ensures a smooth journey from that user experience blueprint, the UX, all the way to the final visual design, the UI.
Okay, first up, we have to review the blueprint itself. This means taking a really hard look at your information architecture and your sitemaps. This is the very skeleton of your digital product. Information architecture, or IA, is really just all about organization. And look, the goal here isn't to be clever, it's to be obvious. A good IA matches how the user already thinks, so they don't have to hunt for things. It just feels natural. They just know where to go. And to get there, you have to ask some really practical questions. Are your labels clear? Or are they full of confusing jargon nobody understands? Is stuff grouped together in a way that actually makes sense to a real person? And this one is critical. Is the navigation shallow? Meaning, can someone find what they need in just a few clicks? Because, let's be honest, no one wants to dig through 5 layers of menus just to find one little thing.
The sitemap, then, is the visual version of that IA. It's basically the map of your entire digital space. And a great sitemap is clean, it shows a clear hierarchy, and, this is so important, it's built around the things users actually want to do.
So how do we make sure it's any good? Well, we ask things like, can people get to the most important pages really quickly? Is anything buried somewhere or totally isolated? And here's a big one. Can this structure handle new features later on without the whole thing falling apart? You got to plan for the future. Okay, once the map itself feels solid, it's time to check the roads. This means we're validating the task flows and user flows, the actual paths that people are going to take through your product. Now, it is vital to know the difference here. A task flow is like a perfect, straight road to one single destination. Think about the simple steps for resetting a password. But a user flow, that's the entire road network. It shows all the different routes, all the possible turns, and even what happens when you hit a dead end. So when you're looking at a simple task flow, you are literally hunting for friction. Are there extra steps you can just cut out? Is there a point where the user just gets completely stuck? These are all those little annoyances that really add up to a frustrating experience. User flows, on the other hand, they need a serious reality check. Because let's face it, people make mistakes. So what happens when they do? Is there a way for them to recover? Or is their journey just over? A really robust user flow plans for imperfection. All of these problems create what we call UX gaps. Think of them like black holes in the user's journey, where people get confused, hesitate, or just give up entirely. It could be something as small as a missing confirmation message, or a really confusing error, or just a totally blank screen where there should be some kind of helpful guidance. So the big question is, how do we find these gaps before it's too late? Well, we move on to testing the foundation with wireframes. This is where that abstract structure starts to become a tangible, testable blueprint. And the process, it moves from simple to complex. Low-fidelity wireframes, those are all about the basic structure, the hierarchy. Then, mid-fidelity wireframes start to add more detail about how components actually work. But the most crucial point is that final step, the usability check. And that happens before you even start thinking about colors and fonts.
Listen, this might be the single most important thing to remember. A beautiful interface cannot fix a broken foundation. I mean, if a user can't figure out how to complete a task with just simple boxes and text, fancy graphics are not going to save it. It's just lipstick on a pig.
So here's your simple checklist for that wireframe test. Can people actually do what they came here to do? Is it super obvious where they should click next? Do they have any idea what the system is doing? If you can answer yes to all of these, you are on the right track.
This whole process leads up to a final, critical decision point, the go/no-go. This is where you identify any major red flags and decide if you're truly ready to move on, or if you need to go back and iterate some more. And if you start seeing red flags at this stage,
You have to stop. I'm serious. Do not pass go. Do not start UI design until these things are fixed.
These are the absolute showstoppers. Things like confusing navigation, broken flows, or missing states. Like, what does the user see on an error screen, or when a list is empty? If the basic hierarchy of what's important on the screen is weak, you've got more work to do on that foundation.
But, having to go back and fix things? That isn't a sign of failure. It's actually the opposite. Iteration is a core design skill. Nobody gets it perfect on the first try. The best products are always the result of constant refinement.
This right here is the engine of great design. It's simple. You try an idea, you test it out, you learn from the feedback, you make it better, and then you do it all over again. It's a simple but incredibly powerful loop.
So ultimately, it all comes down to this. A great user experience is built on a strong, logical structure. By reviewing your flows and testing your wireframes, you find and fix problems early, and that prevents costly failures down the line. It's about making sure every single decision you make serves the user.
So, the next time you're using your favorite app, or maybe even one that drives you crazy, see if you can feel the structure underneath it all. Can you sense that solid, well-planned foundation? Or can you feel the turbulence from a missing pre-flight check? It's something to think about.
Like, share, and subscribe.